I'm down to dunk.
And I'm down to dunk. I'm down to dunk. This is J-Dub, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lindy Waters, and I'm down to dunk. I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Jalen Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to dunk.
We say this is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
Cracklin Oat Bran?
Have you had Cracklin Oat Bran?
No,
No. Okay.
but it's healthy.
Are you a big oat brand guy?
I'm a big Oat Bran guy.
Okay.
I think I would switch it with Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, eat faster. Don't put as much in the bowl.
Do you have a gallon of milk I can also take home?
You don't have milk at home?
One cinnamon toast.
Okay.
Crunch. Yeah. Cereal is great. Yeah.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. Go to theathletic.com/down to dunk and get The Athletic for $1 a month for 6 months. I'm slammed through, and I just want to tell you that I'm feeling fired up to be here today.
I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here today. It's pretty cool, pretty damn cool. Woo!
Slammed through, and Taylor.
Yeah, see, there's no place like home. There's no place like
Dorothy
home.
from Wizard of Oz.
see?
The Wizard of Oz.
Done in the
Got
voice
it.
of what, James Cagney or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know. Just that type of person.
Yep.
So you almost got it, Andrew.
I was really close that
Yeah.
time.
Well, I started with her solo project, Dorothy.
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 The spinoff.
The spinoff. Not quite as successful.
Yeah.
Speaking of, did y'all watch the?
And Jay.
It's Jay. Did you watch the? What was the name of that movie? Was it Return to Oz? They kind of did like this.
The cartoon?
No. I'll have to look it up. Maybe it was just called Oz. No, that was the James Franco. Anyway,
Oh, that was a reality
there's
TV
this
show on MTV about the Osborne
second
family.
version of the Wizard of Oz, and these
Yeah.
dudes like roll on their arms and stuff. I'll look it up. I'll send it out. But we were just talking about music, man.
Wow,
This is our music pod.
we were talking
Yep.
about
Just
music.
talking about some perfect winter albums.
Yeah.
Today it's cold in Oklahoma.
It's cold. It's a cold day.
It's cold everywhere.
It was not cold on Wednesday with the heat in town, though.
Oh wow,
Man, that's a good one.
And
yeah, a good one.
It's also not cold when it comes to people's feelings about officiating.
yeah, what did you guys think about that? So the end of the game, first of all, what a shot from Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro is on one. He had a career high 35 points in Oklahoma City on Wednesday. Last night, career high 42 points.
Mm-hmm.
Last night against the Rockets. He's on a little tour of tanking teams and just torching them. Herro hit that shot. That was
tanking teams.
torching tanking teams. That was a great shot from Herro because I thought Wiggins defended it really well. You know, they switched it. They were planning to switch. Dort said that after the game that they were planning to switch that anyways. And so I thought Wiggins did great, and he just made a great shot.
Herro was the reason that the Thunder lost. I mean, if you go to that box score, and you can see it. I mean, in the game, it's all Herro. But then you go to the box score, and it's like, man, if he was just normal Tyler Herro, we win that game.
Is this not normal Tyler Herro?
No, he's had 2 career highs. So this is the best.
He had never scored 35 points in a game before.
That surprised me.
Maybe what I was saying is maybe this is the
New normal.
new normal. Maybe
Whoa.
this is where it does help that he
The
played
Heat really need
the
that.
Rockets and the Thunder,
Mhm.
but nonetheless, I'll tell you, it was, I don't get really, like, especially on that last play, is like, that's such a bang play. I don't think, And I hate 2-minute reports. We've talked about that before. Like, what's even the point of it? But the shot that Shea had, I get it, man. Like, he contacted his hand. It probably impacted the shot. But, man, if the Thunder were playing defense and they would have gotten called with that foul,
you would have been like, come on.
I know.
Well, it did happen.
With the Brook Lopez.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which was a more blatant foul, in my opinion, than the one that happened to Shea. The Giddey one underneath the basket, I mean, nobody is going to call that.
You can't call that.
And so I wasn't as upset about that. The one that was frustrating to me was, and I don't know, the NBA, I get that this probably opens a can of worms, but when you are able to review a out of bounds call and you're watching the clip to establish who is the last person to touch it, and you see two defenders slap the arms of the offensive player, I think not only can you, yes, it was off of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but also we're going to call a foul on Kyle Lowry, you know, for hitting, you know, it's like, I remember this vividly whenever it was that Clippers playoff game that happened here, where it's like the ball probably did go off of Reggie Jackson, but at the same time, Matt Barnes, I think was who it was, like fouled him to make that happen. And I was like,
it's like hand is part of the ball. It's like,
if you're going to review the out of bounds, like go ahead and give them the space to call, which would make you a little more probably slow to challenge out of bounds calls. Cause I'm like, clearly on that play where Shea lost the ball out of bounds, he was fouled twice on that play.
You can challenge and they will go back and review the whole thing and not just the out of bounds.
Okay. So that only happens if you challenge though.
Only
if it's
not
just an instant review.
If it's just a review, it's just about out of bounds. If you challenge it, they can go back
look at
and,
the whole thing.
and make the exact right call.
Was that not a challenge though by Spoelstra?
It was a challenge actually.
But why wouldn't they have?
I don't understand. I don't know.
Because Spoelstra challenged it. So
I wonder, like, does it who has to initiate it? What are you challenging?
That would be like funny though, if the like Spoelstra challenges it and they're like, okay, yeah, you're actually wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
or not just
they probably could
not only are you wrong and this play's gonna stand as it was called, but there was a foul from your team or whatever. You know, that would be kind of strange. I wonder if they do.
That was a big play. Like,
it was a big play.
It was later in the game, probably a minute left, I guess. But
yeah, it was crucial.
So I saw a tweet from Nate Jones. He retweeted the Mark Daignault talking about the refs after that. And he said, well, what do you expect when you're a team that's been tanking like you have the last 2 years? And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? So I went in the comments and I guess he explained it. And he said, you know, Tom Haberstroh talked about this too, that the NBA does kind of assign, they don't assign their best refs, their best team, like, what's the word?
Yeah, you're right. The best crew
for at games that aren't the best games or the games that need the best officiating.
It's not even, so the way I looked at it, and maybe I'm wrong about, is it's not even the best games. Like, it's not the highest quality game. It's the most visible game.
Yeah, it's what people
so the
care
Warriors,
about.
The Warriors get
Great.
all of the best crews.
Yeah.
And then you go down and you look at the bottom five, and it really is. It's Orlando, it's Detroit, it's Houston,
even Lakers get
it's San Antonio.
Good crews.
Yeah, Lakers get good crews because of visibility.
Yeah.
Because and that's a PR move, honestly. Like, I think there's a quality to it to where obviously when you get to the playoffs and big games like that, it matters. But it's a PR thing where you want your, I mean, honestly, it does not bother me.
It doesn't bother me.
And I appreciated what Mark said. Like, hey, they missed calls, but I'll take this crew. Because Ed Malloy, I think, is the one that he's like one of the three refs that I recognize. And he's like, we'll take this crew even with the mistakes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I probably disagree with that, but that's all right.
Yeah.
But that did, you know, it bothered me at first when I read that. I was like, oh my God, everyone hates OKC. Blah, blah, blah. Then I thought about it and it's like, okay, if you do have to assign crews like that.
I mean, when we had Paul George and Russ and Melo, I bet we had great crews that year.
Yeah.
You know, because people cared about the Thunder. And like, you have to.
Well, and there's higher stakes for teams that have those players.
And you have to do something with like your less experienced officials.
Right.
And you don't want to put them on national television making mistakes out there. You know, because there's been games this year that you watch the Thunder and you're like, oh, There's one in particular. I can't remember who they were playing, but there was one game where it was just like,
There was
oh
a
my
couple
gosh.
of them, and they had a crew, and I said it on the podcast. I was like, I didn't recognize any of those refs.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my gosh, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know the rules.
They reviewed like 6 plays in the last 3 minutes, and
yeah,
it was rough. I can't remember what game that was either, but yeah, and here's the only thing I would say as far as like people who are up in arms about that, which I don't know how many people maybe really are, but the only way those refs are going to get better is with experience. And this is the way the NBA is going to help them figure out, because some of these refs may take the next step and may become somebody who is the Ed Malloys or the Tony Brothers or the that's about it. That's all I got.
The guys that are crooked and get paid under the table.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. How do you get to that point?
Right.
If you don't start somewhere else. You know?
Exactly. Got to start from the bottom to get the big bucks.
But I did think, I thought that Heat game was, I don't know, it's fun. I'll take that.
Well, the Thunder shot 50%, the Heat shot 43%. And the biggest difference there and why the Heat won is the Heat shot 56 threes to the Thunder's 24.
Holy.
It's a math problem. We have a math problem here.
56 at what? Do you have their total field goals up there?
56 of 86.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's that's a math problem that you have. And they shot 42%. That's like really good. But they made 24 threes. They made the exact number of threes that the Thunder attempted in that game. And that's how you lose. Like that's
by only 2 points.
Yeah. And the Thunder, this was the first game the Thunder have lost when they're shooting 50% or better. The Thunder win every game they shoot 50% or better, except for this one, in part because the Heat were able to shoot 56 threes.
Well,
56.
Actually, you know what that tells me? Heat aren't even that good then.
They're really not.
If they have to have
they're not even like 500. They're 14 and 15 on the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We knew that. They're not fun. They're not that good.
Yeah, I do not like watching that team. And then like points in the paint, the Thunder had 60 points in the paint. The Heat had 20. It makes sense.
You're trading twos for threes, and
we
even
want Bam.
Even if you make half of them, in a game where you make half your shots, you're almost always going to win.
So the line for this is just for you. I know this is kind of enjoyable. The line for that game, Miami by 2.5.
Oh man,
they win by 2.
Yeah, that's rough.
Is that a bad beat?
Yeah, it's a bad beat, especially the way that it happened.
Yeah, on pins and needles.
Yeah, that's tough.
And the over under was 225.5. And the total combined score was 220. Vegas doesn't lose, man.
Vegas doesn't lose.
Wow.
They're amazing.
So let me ask some questions.
They somehow know Tyler
Andrew.
Hero's going to have a career high every time.
Let me ask you some questions. Going back to what, in my opinion, is the consistent frustration for me, but I think many in the fan base, the rotations in this game in particular.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. You said Miami was plus 2.5 or minus
2.5.
Oh, okay. So you would have covered if you took that.
Okay.
So that's not a bad beat. That's a good
4.5.
That's a win.
Okay. All right, sorry. See, that's what I'm
Just
saying.
wanted to clear that up, man. I didn't want the gamblers on us.
In general.
Yeah. In general.
So you look at some of the minute distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Poku only played 8 minutes. Mann played 5.
Yeah.
Wiggins got 25. He actually kind of shortened the rotation more than he normally does. There was only 8 players that got over double-digit minutes, and Muscala only broke that by 1 minute. I mean, he got 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, he played guys for the most part that you're like, yeah, okay, if you're trying to win games, like you're kind of playing the guys that you should, with like Isaiah Joe off the bench playing a good chunk of minutes and Wiggins playing the most that he has in forever, it feels like.
Yeah, and Baisley playing. I mean,
Baisley was really good.
Yeah. I wonder how much Isaiah Joe listened to the Wednesday podcast and then took that inflated ego into
the
game.
And then
Because then y'all talk
And then
pretty
miss
glowingly
4.
about Isaiah.
oh
Joe on
yeah,
the podcast.
oh yeah.
So he's 05.
Isaiah
04.
Isaiah Glow.
Isaiah Glow.
Hey, that's good.
Put glow on your jersey.
Yeah, idiot.
And then obviously, like this has been talked about, but this is the same week that they played the Mavericks. This is the same week, like the Thunder on a little 3-game losing streak, which kind of feels like what they're going to do.
Yeah,
kind of for the whole season is they'll win 2 or 3 in a row, and then they're going to lose 2 or 3 in a row, and they're going to win 2 or 3 in a row, and they're going to hover right around kind of where they are until the All-Star break. That's my assumption, at least, because they lost to the Grizzlies, who apparently are the best team in the NBA right now.
they lost 4 in a row.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But all very competitive games.
Except for the Grizzlies won as far as final score, but they were in it all the way into the fourth
Yeah,
quarter.
Yeah, under 10 besides the Grizzlies game, which they lost by 21.
I mean, the Grizzlies did just beat the Bucks by like 55 points last night or something.
The Grizzlies are really, really good.
I would love. Oh my
They
god,
don't even have
Grizzlies Pelicans playoff series.
It'd be really fun. I think the Grizzlies are a lot better than the Pelicans.
You think so? Really?
Yes.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Wait, we'll see. Maybe we'll see.
Hater.
Pelicans hater.
I like the Pels. I just think the Grizzlies are a lot better.
Yeah, it's hard. Like last night, the Grizzlies beat the Bucks by 41, and then the Pelicans lost to the Jazz by 3. But no Brandon Ingram yet.
No Bane though,
and no Bane still.
Yeah, I mean they don't have Bane for another like 2 or 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
no Bane.
I know they haven't had Bane for a long time, and they're number 1 in the West.
Man, but the Pelicans have games like that too. No BI against the Suns.
Yeah, I mean the Suns are on one right now, and by on one I mean off one.
Off one. Off
Yeah, they're 4-6 in their last 10.
They stink right now. I know they won last night, but they stink right now. Like that team. I'd be pretty scared if I were a Suns fan.
I think were we texting about Chris Paul and how there seems to be a 2-year window with Chris Paul.
Yeah,
on every
pretty
team.
much. Yeah.
And then once you get past that 2-year window, it's just classic Chris Paul team.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in that Phoenix team at all.
Guys, yesterday was the day. December 15th.
It was.
Like 85% of the league became eligible for trades.
And no one did a thing.
Not one thing.
No. Everybody's like, well,
which is a challenge because I'm trying to lessen my Twitter exposure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing that naturally, I've found.
And so there's going to be,
yeah,
it just became habit to me.
Yeah.
Where just don't have anything to do, pull your phone out, scroll around, check out everything, put it back up. But notifications, right? For the last decade, I've had Woj notifications and Shams notifications. So if trades happen, we're going to have to find out the old fashioned way.
Newspaper
release the next day.
Yep.
I remember looking at the newspaper.
Telegraphs.
I remember looking at the newspaper as like a high schooler for like free agency news.
Yeah.
You know,
I did that. I would follow, like I as a high schooler would pick the paper up and like read the sports page.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Yeah.
Well, you also used to get a little bit after that, but we used to watch Sports Center.
Oh, Sports Center was like a way to figure out if a trade happened.
Yes. There used to be like breaking news on Sports Center, and that's where you would see it first.
Yeah. Or I'd watch
You'd
like
have to be
NBA
watching
TV.
ESPN.
Yeah. And you're like, well, how did things have changed so much. And like Twitter will always be that for the NBA, but it's weird to think about.
But what if it isn't?
Yeah, not always.
What's next?
I don't know, man.
Discord?
The down to dunk.
You have to be on a very specific Discord server.
Alex is all over that Discord.
I know. Awesome. I need to text him.
I've tried.
I'm gonna get on. I don't know how to use it.
You don't know how to use it?
Like I can get on there, but I don't know like where's everyone talking? There's so many different.
There are like
boards.
8 threads.
Yeah,
that
threads.
are going on. They have game day threads. They have week threads. Like it is a little challenging. We're trying.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start getting on there.
It's pretty good. Like I said, Alex is kind of leading that charge.
Oh,
thank you, Big Al.
It's great.
Thanks, Big Al.
Yeah, I don't know what's next.
Yeah, thank you, Alex, on the Discord. Yeah, see?
I don't know what's next because
Where is everybody?
The way that Twitter is set up is just perfect for like news, right? Like Reddit's really not set up that way because like you have to like make a post, and,
Right?
Like, is Shams gonna go on there and make a post on Reddit?
No, it'd have to be like Instagram or something, but still.
But then, like, are you just waiting on your Instagram feed to see a
know.
Shams
I know,
photo?
it's terrible.
And you can't trust it because it's not like so on Twitter. Nothing is in the, like the actual timeline anymore, or when it's tweeted. But
Yeah.
you can see it because of all the RTs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
right? Instagram.
I mean, you can set it up where you can have latest tweets.
I don't know how to do that. I'm so old.
little stars up in the top right.
Maybe you just show me later.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Thank you.
Do it for him.
Anyway, that's our Twitter conversation.
So they're on this homestand that I think will determine a lot of how quickly do we get to games that don't matter, you know? And I'm just curious.
Every game matters.
Yeah,
Andrew,
Andrew.
curious.
Gosh, man.
How this
Jeez
will go.
Louise.
They play the Timberwolves tonight.
Yeah.
That game doesn't matter.
When
I mean,
How are we playing the Timberwolves again?
they've played all 4 of their games
Fourth
in the
time.
first 2 months.
fourth
3
time.
months.
I know. That's what I said. Like, I'm going to the game. Part of me is like, man, I don't really care about this one at all. Yeah. I mean, I would guess that they'll win this game against the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have been less than impressive as of late. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 2 to the Blazers. They lost to the Clippers. But also, like, maybe they need to rectify that situation with all the losses and win one in OKC. I don't know. Without
Can they choose something like that though? It's like
I don't know.
a team has to have chemistry and be able to play together to make decisions like that. You know?
Can a team with Rudy Gobert on it have chemistry?
No,
It doesn't seem possible.
it
Does
really
it?
doesn't.
Yeah.
Like you had the Jazz had Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Mike Conley,
Mm-hmm.
like these great personalities and
Mhm.
guys from
Mhm.
everything that you know and hear, talented. And then you throw Rudy Gobert in there, and it's like not all of them hate basketball.
Yeah, pretty much. And they made a huge miscalculation. The Wolves did a huge miscalculation on this because you already have Cat. Things are already pretty difficult to have good chemistry when you have Karl Anthony Towns on your team.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just added the worst guy
Yeah.
for chemistry.
And you have Edwards, who's like obviously a very overly confident
Oh, yeah.
young man.
Yeah.
He's very good. He's very talented.
Yeah.
And he gets frustrated and he's pretty open about it.
Yep.
His body language is terrible in the game.
Yep. Yeah. I'm intrigued by the matchup tonight. I mean, the Thunder have way better vibes. We're talking about vibes.
Oh, yeah. We're just talking vibes.
I wonder if it's Poku that starts tonight or if Baisley gets another chance to start. I think Jeremiah is like kind of crucial in guarding Rudy just because he's the stronger of all those guys.
Well, and he's gotten the reps.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He knows all his
Seriously.
tendencies
It's
now.
like you've had basically a playoff series worth of learning how to play Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
How long did they have? Do we have a timeline for Jerry?
Weeks, not days.
Okay. I mean, from what that
It
that
looks
sprain
really
looked
bad.
pretty rough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Mark said. He
And
called
then-
he called the sprain impressive.
Oh,
Man,
impressive.
Yeah.
Sounds like an old man.
Complimenting the injury.
I know.
And then Usman's out for a while too, right?
Uz is out
Broke
for a
a
while.
bone in his wrist.
Yeah.
No,
Same
that was-
wrist, different bone.
Might as well just call it a season.
Might as well feel really weird about it.
Mm. Oh, really?
I feel weird about it. It's like the same wrist.
Yeah.
And they say it's not related to the injury that he had over the summer. It's just weird. Such a fragile wrist. I don't like that.
Yeah, it seems problematic for the long-term projections of his career.
Hard to shoot a basketball without a wrist.
That's true. You know, I've broken 3 bones all on the same arm.
Is that true?
Yes.
Which one?
My left, elbow, collarbone.
Doing what? Boarding?
All sorts of stuff, man. Rollerblading, jumping from bed to bed, missing a bed, and then being thrown into a couch. but hit the bottom of the couch because I'm a child being thrown by another child, so not strong enough to actually throw me. So just basically shoving me as hard as they can into like the wooden part of the base of the.
Broken one bone. Oh, 2 bones. I broke my foot and then I broke my arm. You're
Man.
welcome. You're welcome, podcast listeners.
I like casts. Breaking your toes are the worst. I've broken my toes twice, my pinkies twice. Nothing you can do about it.
No,
just in pain. But at least when you break your arm or something, you get a cast, and that's kind of cool.
It's the worst.
I've never broken a bone.
You will now. Get him.
It's over. He has a non-displaced fracture. Do you guys know what that means?
Nope.
A non-displaced fracture means the pieces of your bone moved so much that a gap formed around the fracture when your bone broke. Non-displaced fractures are still broken bones. Or that's a displaced fracture. Why did Google do this? That's a displaced fracture. A non-displaced fracture are still broken bones, but the pieces weren't moved far enough during the break to be out of alignment. So he must have just experienced some pain, and they did an X-ray and found
they saw a little
fracture.
crack.
Yeah, that has to be it because they just called him up.
They just called him up. He just played a great game. Great job, Usman.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got this fracture. I wonder. I don't know. I was talking to. I just was talking to an orthopedic surgeon recently about different injuries.
Look at me, Louie.
And
that's the worst. Look at me, Louie. Talking to someone that works for their living.
Yeah, exactly. And he was saying that a lot of times on MRIs that something will look like a fracture that's not really a fracture. Like I was talking to him about Darius Baisley's fractured scapula. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Where Baisley was out for a really long time and it said like bruised something.
Oh, yeah.
But then came back and said, "Oh, I had a fracture."
Yes, and we were like, "That's so weird. Who's lying?"
Yeah, and he was like, the likelihood of it actually being a fracture is so low. He's like, it probably was not a fracture. He said it may have shown up on the MRI. It's like a little bit of something, but he's like, those are not that reliable.
So Baisley was lying and being weird again.
So I mean, his doctor may have said it was a fracture because that's how it read on the MRI. But he said in actuality, like maybe not. So I just wonder. I don't know. I certainly don't know. But just an interesting thing.
Thank you.
Hopefully he's okay.
Thank you.
And hopefully his wrist doesn't keep breaking every 2 months.
So hopefully. So the Thunder have, obviously, we'd mentioned that they're in this long homestand. So they play tonight against the Timberwolves, tomorrow night against the Grizzlies. Next week, they have that kind of, what do they call, like a baseball style back-to-back-ish. So they play the Trailblazers on Monday and Wednesday, both here at home, then the Pelicans, and then they finish this homestand with the San Antonio Spurs. So looking ahead, I mean, that's a total of 6 games. They're already 0-2. No, they're 0-1 in this homestand because it's only the Heat was the first one.
Oh, that's right.
So if you look at that, you're looking at 6 more games, a total of 7. What's your prediction for their total record?
3-4.
So 3 wins, 1 Portland, Minnesota, and San Antonio.
Yeah, I think they'll beat Minnesota tonight, and Portland once, and then I mean, you got to beat the Spurs.
You got to beat the Spurs.
Although
I'll be at that game.
Spurs are winning some games though.
Yeah, still 3-7 in the last 10, but they beat the Heat.
They went on a stretch where they won nothing, and then they just all of a sudden won 3 in a row.
Conspiracy.
What's the conspiracy?
I don't know. They're cheating.
They're cheating.
That's the second time. Jay's just kind of thirsty for some conspiracy.
He does. He wants some conspiracies.
So that's what I'm doing.
Like Portland's pretty good.
You can follow me on 4chan.
Yeah,
that is.
I don't know.
Is that the right way to say it?
Could you follow on 4chan? I don't know.
Don't know.
Meet me on 4chan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they beat
the dark web.
They beat Minnesota recently in Minnesota, 135-128, and then they beat Atlanta. Beating Atlanta seems less impressive now. Atlanta's just such a mess.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago I said
pulled the lever.
I like
know.
Atlanta. They're good. I like them. They're not.
No, they're not.
I don't like them.
No, they stink.
Yeah.
But yeah, Minnesota, Memphis, Portland, New Orleans, San Antonio. What do you think, Tayshaun?
Oh, 4-4. They're gonna win an extra one in there somewhere.
I was gonna say there's not that many games.
I don't know. I like 3-4. It might be 2-7 or 2.
Wow.
God, now they're playing 9?
Yeah, they're playing 9 in the next 7.
We're gonna have to do math lesson after this.
Oh, I'm counting blue games. Sorry.
Yeah.
So 7,
2-5.
2 and 5.
2 and 5.
I don't think they win tonight.
I think we will be surprised by one team that they beat.
Oh.
And then
I just have a hard time seeing them beat Memphis or New Orleans.
And you know what? I would have agreed with you if it were a month ago.
yeah, but don't
Because
forget
it does seem like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they do seem to just be losing the games to the teams that are going to be in the
Memphis,
playoffs.
Cleveland, Dallas, Miami.
Yeah, they haven't really pulled out one of those wins that they were getting.
And Miami was
early
a
part of the
a
season.
coin toss. It was a great tank
Yeah.
game. If you're into the tank, you're into this draft class. You were like, this is perfect.
But
Like, this
also,
was it.
Miami isn't like good, so that is a coin toss game.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, it was
going
great.
into it.
This is why it's great.
Yeah, but they're a team that is attempting to be good.
Yes.
But yeah, they're not the Pelicans, they're not the Grizzlies.
Mhm. So even that Dallas game, right? If it were a month ago, I think they would have won that Dallas game just because that seemed to be the energy of like what was happening.
Yeah.
You know, Shea would have shot over 50% that game or something
Mm-hmm.
a month ago. He's just kind of in a shooting slump here, which is fine. It's
was
not
also
that big of a deal.
It was also a math problem game. He actually
it
shot.
was.
He actually
I
shot
was about
well.
to say he was killer in that game.
He shot really
Oh,
well.
he
in
was?
the-
Which
yeah,
one?
in the shake?
What
in
am I
the
getting it
Dallas
confused with? One right around there. Was it the Grizzlies game? It was the Grizzlies.
It's always
game.
the
He shot
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies,
Game. It's always
yeah.
an easy one to assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that game, Shea was 14 of 23.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
42, 2 and 3.
Yeah, that
Three
was
steals.
not the appropriate game. To
Never
remember, but
mind.
no, I get what you're saying. They do feel, and I don't know, man. I
50,
think
54 threes in that game for the Mavs. In two games, they've given up 110 threes.
in that Mavs game.
we actually, I
games.
think, have a Twitter question about this.
It was a math problem game too, because the Thunder shot 47% to the Mavs 41%. Math.
Yeah. So this is actually from @Zach. Oh man, I don't want to mess this up. I want to say Terrones. Is it a schematic thing to overhelp in the lane and leave every shooter wide open? Or is it a young team making mistakes? Is it potentially a lever being pulled? Why are they defending this way to give up as many open threes as they do?
I don't know.
Are they trying to be like that Bucks team a few years ago?
I mean, Mark
It's not
didn't
working
say
out
that.
for them.
I mean, you can't do that in this league. If you give up 50 threes a game, you're going to lose so much.
So it surely is just not closing out the way you're supposed to, not being where your rotations are off or whatever.
I mean, like, look at the guys that took the most threes on the Mavs that night. Like Dorian Finney-Smith, who like shoots corner threes exclusively, took 8 threes. Like, you don't want to give up 8 corner threes to Dorian Finney-Smith.
And a lot of those were open.
I know. Tim Hardaway Jr., who's not had a great year, but still, he took 14 threes. 14.
Yeah, boom, he was stroking.
Spencer Dinwiddie took 8. Luka took 10.
The only people that I remember being in the lane that game were Luka and Dinwiddie.
They're the only guys that can dribble. They're the only two that can dribble on the team.
Yeah.
And you let everybody that's what they do. Like that's what's kind of confusing is like that's what the Mavs do is it's Luka only and everybody else spots up and they just need to be ready. And you just give them all the time in the world. And like, and still they had a chance to win that game.
It's so funny how
It's like if you shut off that valve of threes, like you might actually give yourself a chance because who else is driving? That's what kind of drove me crazy about that game. Like it's just Luka, and Luka's going to get his no matter what you do.
right.
But then you basically just say, hey, go ahead and do what you want to do, guys. Take your open threes. Take 54 of them.
I know that there's like this Twitter discourse about Luka and Harden and how they're like the same player, basically, and whatever. But it really is funny how this Mavs team is almost exactly like one of those Harden Rockets teams.
Yeah.
Almost exactly.
I mean, when you have a guy that's like that heliocentric, that's how you do it. Is like you just put 3-point shooters out.
Yeah, but is that how you do it? Like, it almost feels like Kidd is 4 years late on this strategy.
But what else are they supposed to do this year with the roster they have?
Yeah, I get it.
You know, like they do want to change the roster over the next like couple of years, and they need to. Like they need, they lost Brunson. They need another guy that can create next to Luka, because he can't do it all by himself. Like he can't win a title like this.
Well, and I think they thought that Spencer was going to be one of those guys too.
Yeah, but Spencer was on that team last year, and like they just had to bump him up, and now the guy who's taking his place is like Frank Ntilikina. Like, okay. I mean, they've got problems, and they know like this is a gap year for the Mavs in a lot of ways.
The question that nobody is asking is, can the Mavericks afford a gap year? Are you wasting
also
an MVP season?
Why is Jason Kidd your freaking head coach, man?
Hey, man, he was good last year, people say. I don't know really what coaches do in the NBA.
I don't know. It just seems like everything Jason Kidd, every team Jason Kidd's on, you're like, why are you doing it like that?
Yeah. I feel like he's done a good job with this Mavs team.
Really?
This roster is not.
They've actually played quite a bit better this last week, but I was listening to the Hoop Collective on my way in, and I didn't know that Maxi Kleber is maybe out for the season, tore his hamstring.
Yeah, he's out indefinitely.
So maybe his career.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, indefinitely. It could be
forever.
Could be weeks.
His family hasn't seen him. He's just out.
It's indefinite.
His family.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
He's really important to them.
I mean, hugely important for them.
Yeah. Really, really good defender.
Yeah.
Great corner 3-point shooter.
So maybe they get Wembanyama. Maybe they start the tank. Pull some levers.
Pull some levers. There's no lever to pull. I mean, it just have to be Luka. If Luka sat and it was the Frank Ntilikina show, then yep.
Yeah.
You might get the number 1 pick. Yeah. But the Thunder also are going to be in position. I wonder if they actually pull levers and what that looks like, or if they'll just let this play out. Because I think they've shown through this many games, they're 7th in the reverse standings right now. The Wizards are ahead of them right now in the reverse standings, and the Wizards stink, but they'll get better. If the Thunder finish 6th in the reverse standings, that doesn't seem crazy. So if that's where they end up, I'm feeling pretty good. Because if you look at where Shea is in the league, or where people think he is in the league, and I think the Ringer had him 12th overall. If you have a top 12 player on your team and you have a chance to draft in the top 5 again, and you have the number 2 pick coming in next year, like you're in really, really good shape.
Yeah.
Compared to all the rest of these teams.
That might just happen though. Like, just let it play out. It seems like they might stumble into that anyway. I know we were talking about they might stumble into a play-in game earlier in the season, but I don't think that's happening.
It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All I'm saying is don't pull the levers.
That's all I'm saying. I'm tired of pulling levers.
Just
don't.
let it ride. Like they're already 7th worst in the NBA.
Well, I don't think that you pull levers anytime soon.
No, I'm saying just don't I think Alex is onto something. And maybe I'm crazy about this, but if Shea has a chance to make an All-NBA team, just to sit him for the sake of, man, I don't know, dude.
Even for the last 2 weeks.
That would be problematic. Well, 2 weeks, of course. Yeah, fine. Whatever.
Okay. That's what I would say.
But 2 months?
I don't know about 2 months.
3 months?
I mean, he'd have to have an injury.
Andrew.
What do you want, Andrew?
He'd have
8 years?
Well, I want to get a great draft pick. That's what I want.
Gosh,
they're probably going to get one anyway.
You don't know that.
You don't know that.
You don't know it. The other end of it.
They could fall to like 8 or 9 in the reverse standings. That's absolute purgatory. You don't want to be there.
Come on.
What?
I mean, it's not
You
the
say
sweet
that,
spot, Jay. It's not the sweet spot.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is the fact that the Thunder have had what ultimately amounts to 3 top 8 picks in the last 5 drafts. If you talk about Shea, Giddey, Chet.
Yeah, like guys that have gone like 9th. Like I just don't want to pick 9th.
You don't want Johnny Davis? I don't know
Like,
where he was drafted, but
I
feels
mean,
about
here's
that.
the guys that went 9th in the last several years: Sohan, Davion Mitchell, Denny Avdia, Rui Hachimura, Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith Jr.
All right, enough.
Jakob Pertl,
Enough.
Frank Kaminsky,
Ooh, Jakob Pertl.
Noah Vonleh, Trey Burke,
This is good.
Andre Drummond, Kemba Walker is a good one. Gordon Hayward's a good one. DeMar DeRozan's a good one. That's a good stretch right there.
He's proven himself wrong.
DJ
Also, he's like
Augustine.
20 years now.
Yeah.
Right now, the Thunder.
Patrick O'Bryant, Ike Diagu.
I don't even know.
Right now,
that
the
name.
Thunder are picking at 7, basically. And according to Tankathon, that's where Cam Whitmore's
Hey,
falling,
that's your
which is
man,
good.
Jay.
But you also like at 9.
Cam Whitmore will go way above 7.
Yeah, like
Way, like
4, 3,
yeah.
4.
There is no way he's going 7.
Whoa, man.
There ain't no chance he's going 7th. That's the guy, though, Jay, that you watch him and you're like, oh my gosh, that's what they're missing.
Yeah, I know. Dude, yes. Absolutely.
Like this
And he's playing on a bad Villanova team. I've watched them a few times, and it's college basketball sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Like it's just hard to get any real evaluation of guys. And so if you watch them, you get frustrated because you're like, man, why aren't they somebody that's this highly touted should just be scoring 30 a game?
Yeah. He's like a real shooter, too.
Yes. And he's an athlete to a level that the Thunder don't have.
Yeah. And the thing that the Thunder want to do is they want to play fast. And they want to get up and
man.
down the court. Like, that's the guy. Like, that's the one you're missing.
This is saying go all in for Whitmore.
You might have to pull levers to get Whitmore.
No,
though.
you can get him at 4.
Yeah, but how are the Thunder going to get to 4 without pulling levers?
Because come on, they're trending that direction. That's what we always have to go back to. Is all right. So
I don't know. 4's pretty tough.
who's ahead of them in the reverse standings that you're sure are going to be up there? Okay, so you've got the Lakers, you got the Bulls, both trying to win at this point.
Rockets, Spurs.
Yeah, trying to win, but they
Orlando.
stink.
Rockets, Spurs, Orlando for sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if you're those teams, I would assume that those teams are going to continue to finish
Detroit.
above. You've
Yeah,
got
they probably will.
but
How do you get to 4 if you're But how do you get to 4 though? You got the Rockets and the Spurs.
I think the
and
Thunder
Magic.
will. I think we're trying to acknowledge the fact that the Thunder are trending downward.
Yeah, I think they are.
You know, like they're trending downward, and all it does take is a week or two where Shea is out with a hamstring or whatever,
Yeah,
and they're going to be right in the thick of it.
That'd be
But
great.
they will not be worse than the Spurs, the Magic, the Pistons, or the Hornets, or the Rockets.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to get in that top
That's a
5.
lot.
So then you're going to need lottery luck, which is what they've needed from
you need lottery luck.
the beginning. Every
You
year.
got Amon Thompson too. I don't. He
Yeah.
didn't exactly fit what. It's the fit is not as seamless as like a Cam Whitmore, but the kind of athlete that he is, it's insane. The shooting stuff scares me, but like he could enter the league and be like a top 5 athlete.
Yeah, immediately. Although I think Whitmore is pretty high up there too. He's
Whitmore's-
not the athlete that Amin is, but
He's really good. He'd be the best athlete on the team, like by far.
Whitmore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, by
Both
far.
of them.
Yeah, I mean, Amon would be the best athlete on most teams he's on, outside of like Memphis. But yeah, it would. There's some guys. There's some guys in this draft, and then there's other guys in there too that are interesting. But if you want, I mean, to me, the top 4 would be insane if you got any one of those picks. I think you'd feel really, really good. And then you're gonna have to rely on Sam to find somebody outside the top 4. And did it before with Giddey. Also, like shouts to Josh Giddey, who's been really, really good lately.
Mm-hmm.
He's put together a great stretch of basketball.
Well, they're playing well together, which is the most encouraging thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they are finally playing like basketball that looks like, oh, okay, I see it now. You
And
know?
it makes sense though. They just did not get a lot of minutes together last year.
Yeah, it's true.
This was the first year that they actually get to play real games together against a bunch of different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just minutes, it's minutes with a variety of different kinds of teams that you're playing against.
Yeah, without a doubt. And teams that are, it's good that it's working right now because everybody knows the tendencies of both players this year. Where last year there were parts of it that looked really good, but no one had any clue how to guard Josh Giddey or what he was going to be. And he's such a unusual player. But now, like, everything's in the scouting report. Like, here are the 5 things that Josh is trying to do. Like, we are taking away all 5. We're going to make him do something different. And he's starting to figure it out.
He's starting to figure it out. And it's also just, that dude is a hustle player, too. There's a lot of plays that just come from him not quitting.
He's played really hard lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been
Which I
impressed.
just keep going back to that interview you had with his dad's teammate. I can't remember his name. From
Andrew
Australia.
Gaze.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just thinking about like how much of his dad's DNA is imprinted on him as far as that hustle, that side of it, which is, I think, can we at least be honest about the fact that none of us probably, like, even though we love what we saw from Giddey as a rookie, you never thought he was going to be a primary scoring option.
No.
You always knew that he was going to have his value in that stuff, the intangibles, the assists, the rebounds, his size. He should be able to guard. I mean, he should be able to defend a lot of power forwards, which is what they've been trying to do recently is put him more in the middle of the defense. And there's just a lot of those kind of less sexy parts of his game that I think are going to be what make him such a key player for this team going forward.
Yeah, he, in the last 5 games, 15 points, 8.8 boards, 5 assists, only 2.6 turnovers, shooting 45% from the field, 50% from 3. He's played really well.
Yeah, he has. And it's stuff that comes at like good times in the game too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just you look at it and you're like, oh, Josh Giddey is shooting well. It's like you kind of remember all of those threes that he hits.
He's driving a lot.
Yeah.
And this is why, like, a Cam Whitmore or somebody like that would be so crucial, is like if he's occupying the corner or occupying the top of the key or something, like he's going to open up space there and somebody for them to throw to whenever they're driving. Because like right now it's Isaiah Joe, and he's a good shooter, but if Isaiah Joe is like your release valve, like there's a ceiling on your team.
But next year, let's say it's like, okay, Giddey drives. Okay, the other 4 players on the court are SGA, Chet, Cam Whitmore, Isaiah Joe.
Yeah, you're like, okay, yep, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
This team has been hindered by space intentionally
and non-shooters
since 2008.
I mean, you're not wrong about that, but yes.
That's true.
But intentionally in the last few years is you don't have spacers and you don't have rim protection. And it's the reason they've been as bad as they have been.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
It's totally fine. Hey, let's go to before we go to Tayshawn's factoid figure victory, let's take a quick break. And we're back from that quick break. It's time for some Tayshawn factoid.
Tayshawn's factoid figure victory. Tayshawn's factoid figure victory.
Hello, I'm Tayshawn. This is my Christmas victory.
Whoa.
I just want to talk about Christmas time because I don't know if we're gonna do a podcast next week, but we'll see. Maybe we will.
You just don't want to?
I mean, can.
Kind of feels like you're saying you don't want to.
I just didn't know. I don't remember how holiday season is.
I'll be here.
We can do it. I'll be here too on Christmas.
Well, apparently we're podcasting.
On
All right,
Christmas,
on
Sunday.
Christmas Day.
Sunday morning. Oh,
Yeah.
Can't do that
I
one.
was gonna
Sorry,
say,
guys.
Jay, sorry.
Okay, you don't care about the pod. Do you guys have any weird Christmas traditions, or would you like to start some weird Christmas traditions?
We actually have a question that kind of helps with this a little bit as well. So this is from, no, you're good, man. This is perfect. This is from @Peterman33. He says, what is the worst common holiday tradition?
The worst one.
So let's start with the worst one, and then let's talk about what are Christmas traditions that you would define in your own life. Presents. I like that one.
Presents. A Christmas tree.
I like
Good
a
one.
good
It's a good
Christmas
one.
tree. Actually, that's I try to keep the Christmas tree up in our house as long as possible. And Kate is like, no, it is not Christmas anymore. We don't have it up.
Yeah.
But I just won't help take it down. So sometimes that prolongs how long it stays up.
My wife, she would prefer that we tear Christmas down Christmas Day, like in the evening.
Oh,
she's done.
Come on.
Wow. But she's also an early.
We put it up November 1st.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, I try to leave it up too, but you're supposed to technically wait 12 days after Christmas. That's what that is.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, really?
Epiphany, man. Epiphany Sunday.
Epiphany?
Yeah, that's when.
I've never heard of
Okay.
it.
Well, that's
Wow.
fine. That's okay. I'll just leave that alone. That'll be for my other podcast. The 12 days of Christmas actually start from Christmas for the 12 days afterwards.
What?
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to
Bring
tradition.
us a figgy pudding. That comes after Christmas?
Technically,
Yeah.
Advent to Christmas, and then Christmas for 12 days.
Wow.
It
I
makes
could be
sense.
wrong about that, but I think that's what it is.
I mean, it makes sense. The 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, Christmas starting, and then
Yeah.
you should celebrate Christmas after.
12 days.
Yes,
It's weird.
until Epiphany. Epiphany is when the wise men visited Jesus. So.
Oh yeah,
that's
he would.
Epiphany.
They wouldn't have been there like the.
Technically, we should be celebrating it for like 2 or 3 years or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of 12 days.
That's what I'm
Technically,
in
it
for.
should be in June or something.
Could be
knows?
potentially true. So, what are other common holidays? Apparently, other than the calendar,
Well, I don't know. What
I
is
like
that question?
I like most holiday. I like most Christmas traditions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like most of them too, but I'd like to incorporate a
Shopping.
couple.
I like less shopping.
less shopping,
Like
for
less
sure.
stuff oriented for Christmas.
Yeah.
Right?
Listen, Jay, I want this.
Okay. What's your weird one? You want to have, you got some weird ones
I
on
got
your
one.
mind.
I got one.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want it. I have a family of 4 now.
Yeah.
And so I want to start having like movie night.
Yeah.
But I also want these little hard-boiled egg holders. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? The cups.
Oh.
You know,
Okay.
and then you crack them open, but kind of easy. The yolk is runny, and I want to have toasted bread that are cut like strips,
Okay.
and I want them to be buttered and with some other stuff on it. And
What's
I want us to
happening right
all
now?
dip them. I just want to have hard-boiled egg night at Christmas.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know why.
That's not a hard boiled egg if it's got
right.
runny yolk.
That's true. It's just a boiled egg, I guess.
Not even that. It's
Well-
just a raw egg,
Partially boiled egg.
partially boiled.
Yeah. It's boiled. It's cooked.
That's an over hard egg. No, it's still like an over medium egg.
You know what? I'll figure out exactly what it's called, but
Okay.
I think we all know what it is.
You're about dipping the toast in the yolk.
Yeah. Dipping the toast in the yolk, specifically in these little cups, and we have them all, and they only come out for Christmas.
You want a toad in a hole.
Toad in a hole?
Yeah. You have
I'm
one of
pretty
those?
sure I
I
just
want a toe
figured.
in the hole.
I'm pretty sure I just figured out the answer to Peterman's question. What is the worst common holiday tradition? If that's a tradition,
If that's
I don't
it,
think that's
that is
common.
by far the worst.
I don't think that's common.
What are the
I would
worst?
like
What are the
that.
worst ones? What do we not like about Christmas?
I don't know.
All the family.
We're at a point this year, man. It's wild. Like, so we're not going to Memphis, which is where my
Yeah.
wife's family.
Hey,
My wife. Memphis.
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 No.
My Memphis.
Anyway, so
Not Memphis.
it's hard for me because of my job to go anywhere on Christmas Day or to go out of town that week or
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard. It's impossible. I'm not going to. And so it makes it to where for Christmas this year, it's going to be like 3 of us.
Yeah.
And so what's cool, we're trying to create
That's a dream.
We're trying to create some new traditions where actually we're like inviting over friends. Like we have some friends that they have family, but they don't have a great relationship with them. So they're there
Yeah.
for like 2 hours in the morning. And then
Mhm.
I'm like, come over, let's
That's
have
great.
let's have a night. Let's do
Yeah.
dinner or something. So I'm trying to create some holiday traditions, but I don't know. What's the worst common or best common holiday? You had a question, Taylor, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
You
I
talked
just
about
wanted
your
to talk
dis-
about Christmas.
I got so derailed by your discussion.
We do.
No, I
Egg.
think we're in it.
We
We're
do
in
like a whole evening where we decorate cookies
Mhm.
together
Mhm.
at my mother-in-law's house, and it's great.
That's
We all-
great.
My kids like that's the thing that they talk about like the most. Is like doing that, and she has like 1,000 different icings and all these things, and she'll make like 250 cookies for just like the 7 of
Did
us.
you also make like killer cinnamon rolls or something?
Killer,
Yeah.
killer, so good. So that's also part of our tradition is that we do a Christmas breakfast. It's like almost like Christmas brunch. Instead of doing like our traditional like turkey or ham or whatever, we just do like egg casserole and bacon and
that might be my least
cinnamon
favorite
rolls.
common holiday tradition is
that you do Thanksgiving again?
Yeah, the meal that has been historically part of our experience. I'm
Yeah.
kind of out on that.
Yeah,
we try to get creative.
we bucked that trend. We're like we're not doing that. We're not participating in
Christmas spaghetti.
that. Sure.
Christmas.
Mexican food, Christmas Mexican food. That would be my wife's dream.
My wife.
That's the third time.
My Mexican food.
My dream is to be Jewish and eat Chinese food on Christmas Day.
That's a weird one.
You can do that.
Yeah, I
without being
know.
Jewish.
I like that. I'd like that.
Can you?
Maybe we eat the eggs and bread at lunch, and then Chinese food at dinner,
You have the weirdest smelling house ever.
and then Christmas spaghetti for breakfast.
Gross.
I like it.
I do like doing.
I
a
like
brunch.
this.
I'm such a breakfast guy. where
Me
I'm like,
too.
let's just do cinnamon rolls and
Oh, it's
sausage
great.
and bacon.
I'll fire up the
French
griddle,
toast.
get some
Yeah.
pancakes going. Yeah, it's great. It's a great time.
That's the best holiday tradition now.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And we don't go anywhere. That's the other thing on Christmas. We don't go anywhere. We
Yep.
just stay.
Yeah.
We made that rule whenever my son was part of our life.
My
son. Anyway, we just made the rule like Christmas is a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And so we stay home for Christmas.
Yeah. We stay
I wanna be-
home.
I want to be in my house
Yep.
so that we can get up with the tree and the presents and the Santas. And
Yep.
And you know what? I really liked that as a kid growing up because we kind of did that too, my family. And you know what I got to do?
Just family.
My family. Just play with my toys all day.
Yeah.
With no interruptions.
Yeah.
The worst is like you woke up at Christmas and you open an Xbox or something, and they're like, okay, go get dressed for church. You're like, mother.
oh, that's
Yeah.
happening this year. It's a Sunday for some people.
Yeah.
Very few people go to church.
I could not stand.
Well, it's
that.
like, or let's go be at grandma's all day long. And
Yeah.
That's the more frustrating
Yeah.
one because it is Christmas.
As you know what though?
What's the worst common holiday tradition?
Seeing your
Freaking-
grandma.
Celebrating the birth of Jesus.
I'm just saying, as a kid, did not like it.
No, without question, that's a struggle. We're doing a PJ Sunday, so you can show up. I bought a onesie.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't think I can actually wear
You
it.
could do it.
No.
Oh, I know what's happening. You're gonna be
Yeah.
on stage, and there's gonna
in a
be
onesie.
You're
a
gonna
lot of stuff.
Imagine it's not gonna take much imagination. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm gonna wear some shorts.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was Tayshawn's factoid.
John's factoid, bigger in victory.
It's supposed to be really cold Christmas.
So cold.
Oh, then definitely wear shorts.
Like tens.
Definitely wear shorts then.
All right. It's time for some Twitter questions.
Twitter questions. You got questions and you ask them on Twitter. Now we answer them for you. This is Twitter questions. Now let's get down to it.
Discord questions.
Discord question.
Maybe we do need to do that.
Yeah. Our first Twitter question comes from at Giddey for Giddey. What's Isaiah Joe's cereal rating?
What does that mean?
So is he?
He's not a
Cinnamon
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. He is, I think, middle of the pack. I like the potential of what Joe could be for this team.
I mean,
Like to have a lights out shooter that can stay on the floor defensively.
yeah.
So
It's something that
I mean,
every single contender needs. Like if he can be our like Reggie Bullock, great. I'll take it. Yeah, I think he's a Cheerios.
What?
Cheerios with blueberries.
I don't do fruit in my cereal, man.
Why not? You should.
No, I don't.
You don't like fruit?
I do like fruit. I like fruit, all types of fruit. Here's
Why
the
don't
deal.
you do it then? What do you have against it?
Oh, nothing. It's just weird, man.
It's not weird.
It is to me.
It is delicious.
Like blueberries and my Fruity Pebbles.
No. No, that's disrespectful.
The amount of hate that Fruity Pebbles got or gets is so unfair. I would say I'm just not a Cheerios guy. I'm a Honey Nut Cheerios guy.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, okay, I get it. You don't put fruit in that. You put it in bland cereal.
Yeah. grape nuts with blueberries.
And it makes it good. It makes like Cheerios good. You gotta trust me.
I'm not going to. I'm going to agree to disagree. It's funny as I say that, and then I put blueberries and bananas in my. Oh, I do put bananas in cereal.
Okay,
That's
counts.
fruit.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fruit. It's a fruit.
I do put my go-to breakfast is overnight oats,
Oh,
which I put blueberries in, which I'm
Yeah.
like, that's basically
It's a
bland
cereal.
with,
Yeah.
it's exactly what it is. So
yeah, it's great. It's
yeah,
delicious.
it's fantastic.
At Grayson Wilbanks, what are your thoughts on Trey Mann?
Nervous.
Yeah, I wonder about
He only got 5 minutes in that last game.
It's the least amount he's played.
You're
in a
definitely not
game.
gonna be able to figure anything out if you're only playing 5 minutes.
Yeah, I wonder about his back.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
For me though, I'm like, why not just sit him then? If it's genuinely a problem, just put him on the
Yeah, I don't
injury
know.
report.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's also harder to get shots on this team than it was last year to get shots.
Yeah.
as like a ball handler
Do you,
because you have like J-Dub now is like taking over that
and you
slot.
should because he's
And also J-Dub deserve. We'll talk more about him in a minute, but like he deserves more shots
yes.
every single night.
His mid-range game is really good.
Yeah, he
Like
knows,
really good.
He knows just how to get to his spot. Knows when to rise up.
Yeah,
He's been so
if
good.
J-Dub, and this is what's crazy. I mean, if he develops a consistent 3-point shot, shoots between 37 to 40% from the 3-point line, that dude's going to be elite,
Mm-hmm.
like an elite 6-man, or I don't know. You could figure out how to put him in the starting lineup, I think. But
You have to sit Dort.
so yeah, I'm worried about Trey Mann, and I think one of the common things you're hearing in the Thunder world is whether or not a time in the G League would be helpful or hurtful for him. Do you have an opinion on that?
I don't think they'll do that. I think it could be helpful if he could go there and catch a rhythm. I think it could be helpful. I don't know what that would like mentally what that does for somebody.
Yeah, that's the only question. When do they have to make a decision on extending him or giving him a quality?
No, he's only in year 2. I mean,
So one
he's
more
got-
year?
He's got 4 years. You know, I mean, you can wait. I mean, he'll be restricted. So like just like with Baisley this year, like they
Yeah.
haven't made a decision on him, but he's still restricted, and so you still have an opportunity to offer a contract and the opportunity to match. But I mean, at this point, if Trey is this kind of player, like this kind of player doesn't get another contract, you know, if this is
No.
who he is. So like undersized, not a shooter that isn't shooting well, you know, those
Yeah.
guys don't make it. And the truth is like somebody is not going to make it.
Yeah.
That's just like
It
the
definitely
nature,
feels like him at this point.
it's the nature of the draft. And that's what it feels like right now. He could turn it around if he could start tonight and play really well off the bench and have 25
you've
points off
seen
the
him-
bench. You just don't know.
You've seen him be the microwave scorer before,
yeah.
right? Was it the Boston game last year? We had like 20 and a quarter or something
It
like
was
that.
against, yeah, Boston. He was unbelievable. And I'm not like out on Trey Mann at all.
No.
He needs more time. This is a question that I think we visit again at the end of the season to see how we feel. Questioning, it's okay to like take note of like how someone's playing in mid-December, but it doesn't necessarily determine like what, you know, the actual outcome is going to be.
Right.
So I think we wait to figure that out. At Dort Poi, would you be surprised if J-Dub ends up in the top 3 of his draft class? What if J-Dub is the Jaylen Brown type of player that Andrew and Alex spoke about in the previous pod?
So if you're looking at the 2022 draft, guys, you feel confident that you could project that their ceiling is higher. Paolo, Chet,
Paolo, Chet.
Keegan Murray.
Not really Keegan. Ben Mathurin for sure.
What about Jabari Smith?
He's got a chance, but he's just not a decision maker. And I think it limits him.
Shaden?
Shaden could be one. Yeah. That
And
takes
then
up.
your Dyson Daniels.
Dyson Daniels he's been good. Like he has a chance to be that good or better.
I think it's not out of the question to say he's a top 5 in that draft.
Yeah, I think that's
Maybe
fair.
already as far as performance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else is. Well, AJ Griffin is somebody else that he's been playing really well.
Yeah, he's been good. Tari Eason is another one. I'm not a Tari Eason guy. I will never be a Tari Eason guy, but he's played well this season. Walker Kessler has been really good too.
Yeah, which is kind of shocking. He kind of is what he is.
Yeah, he's been crazy efficient. I think he's shooting like 70%.
And apparently the rim protection transitioned.
Yeah, I mean, he was incredible in college as a rim protector. 4.6 blocks per game. It's insane.
Yeah, that's bananas.
It's insane. But yeah, I think he's got a shot. That's a bold take to say that he will be third.
Yeah.
It's a bold take because you're saying like definitely better than Jabari. Like Jaden Ivey's another one we haven't talked about. He's been better than Jaden Ivey this year, like in so many ways. But like Jaden with his athleticism has a chance if he can put it together with like efficiency stuff, like he could be better.
Yeah.
Than J-Dub is. So it's going to take J-Dub like taking a pretty big leap in the next couple of years, and it's going to take like Jaden Ivey not getting there,
not doing the same,
and like Ben Mathurin. This is like if maybe this is who he is, then like that's one. That's a really good player, but J-Dub's has a chance to be better.
And I think that the general premise of this question is Thunder fans should absolutely be thrilled with what they are already seeing in J-Dub.
He's so good.
And
he's so efficient.
As part of that, what you have to be thinking is, all right, so what is his future? Because he will grow, he will change, his body will develop. He's
going to get stronger. He's going to get better.
More
he's
coaching,
get smarter.
More instructing. Like
yeah.
I think that he is going to be a critical piece in this team. Like he's one of those guys that now I put up with. Like it would have to be a crazy get to move him.
Yeah,
like J-Dub, Chet, Giddey, Shea. Those are my untouchables at this point.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think those are the four. I don't think there's anybody else that you should include in that list as of today. It's pretty wild that they got that guy at 12.
Yep.
Yeah.
And from everything we've heard, that was like Sam's guy.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, they took him at 12. You know, it seems like it. At Me Love Thundamo, would you even want Wiseman if he became available? Or is he not enough of a new Thunder guy?
I think I'm probably going to be the one guy on the podcast that's more intrigued by him. But I think what Me Love Thundamo is alluding to is correct in the sense of he's not enough of the new Thunder guy, where it's
when you have to give up real stuff for him too is the other thing. Like I don't think they'd give. Everybody's like, well, Kenrich Williams, like they're not going to trade Kenrich Williams.
Yeah,
they're not going to do that.
But I don't even think that's something that moves the needle for the Warriors, like without something else attached to it.
Yeah, you have to have a pick.
Yeah,
and
I don't know if Wiseman's that guy.
I'm not giving up a pick for James Wiseman.
Also, you could probably just pull a Marvin Bagley and wait. If you really want him, just do what the Pistons did.
Just wait.
It's like, you're not going to extend his contract. Well, we'll just wait, and then we'll throw whatever at you to get him.
Yeah, he'll likely be available, and the Thunder will likely have cap space when it's time.
It feels very much like Bagley.
Yeah, he's
without maybe as much drama as Bagley had, but
yeah.
I mean, if you're not successful in Golden State, who has such a track record of, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy about that, but if you're even a decent player, I feel like you contribute on that Warriors team. Like they won championships with Mo Spates and Kevon Looney.
Kevon's good.
Yeah, he is, but I'm saying Wiseman was pretty consensus, like one of the better bigs that came out in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
So it's like there's something more going on. I mean, I think the counter argument is the fact that he's not going to get the same opportunities. He's not going to get the same opportunities because of playing for the Warriors.
It's a tough environment for development for these guys. It really is.
Yeah.
That's where you kind of feel for those guys because there's a ton of pressure on them.
Yeah. So that's fair. That's the
fan base
argument.
Is huge. This is a giant fan base. That's one of the more vocal fan bases in the NBA. And if they even tune in a little bit online, him, Kuminga, Moody, those three, like you're be hard pressed to find like great stuff about you online.
Yeah, it's hard. You just watch a guy, and this is not apples to apples, and I understand that, but you watch a guy like Austin Reeves in LA where you're like, that's a hard environment. He is tremendously under the microscope.
Yeah.
Yet he comes in, not a high talented guy. I think, what did they get him in the second, or is he an undrafted free agent?
I think he was undrafted.
So you look you look at him and he came in and like sometimes I think just being a baller or a basketball or hooper.
But he's the type of player that LeBron's always
For sure. But that's what I'm wondering. Like somebody that should be able to rim run, but if you can't play defense consistently, you cannot play for the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that Draymond is really hard if you're not bringing it. I can't imagine that that's the easiest place to have like a graceful entry into the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I would give it a shot, but that's just me. It depends on what you'd have to give, obviously, but I like the potential of Wiseman, and I like the fact that here he would have far less pressure, more time to develop. Could he be a counterpiece with Chet at some point long term? But then you're going to have to, if he does develop, the amount of guys you're going to have to play and pay becomes, and you don't want to do anything that would limit Chet's ability to be on the floor,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a Wiseman guy. I wouldn't do it. At Austin Woolish. If Poku is really a 40% three-point shooter, then what is his ceiling as a player?
I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of comps is what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah. I think ideally, for what this team is developing into, you want him to be a role player that is...
Could he be a Joe Ingles?
Yeah, I think Joe Ingles is a really interesting comp for him. Yeah, that type of guy who's a connector on offense and can handle a little bit. Yeah, I think Joe Ingles. I think like skinny Boris Diaw is another one that I think is interesting. Like that kind of player. Those are not like high usage players. And I don't think that Poku, unless something crazy happens over the summer next year, is going to be a high usage player. And not that you even need another high usage player. If he's just a guy that hits corner threes, that blocks shots, that plays defense, that you trust to be out there, which is kind of feels like the road he's headed down. Like that is unbelievable. And also, like, remember, they drafted him at 17. They didn't draft him at 7.
Yeah. He also, the hope is that he never develops some sort of ego to where, like not last night, but against the Heat, he plays no minutes.
Yeah, he played 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's like for him to be able to just still stay on the sideline and be like, hey, I'm in for whatever this team needs to win, which is what a Diaw would do occasionally, or Ingles would even do at some point. It's like, and don't forget for Ingles, at least, is he had to go through, like wasn't he cut for the Clippers or sent to?
Yeah, he was undrafted, got cut by the Clippers.
He didn't really figure out who he could be until he played against the
Jazz. And he was older.
Jazz, yeah. So his path doesn't have to be linear to still fill this like high ceiling role player.
Yeah, I think he's as long as he can shoot 40% and defend like he has been and he's just going to get bigger and stronger as he just gets older.
And hopefully, and you're already seeing it, like more in control.
Yeah.
More able to not make the Poku plays that
I think he could be
shock you.
I think he could be actually pretty crucial to this team moving forward as far as like a role player that is like a release valve for Chet and for Shea and for whoever they get in this next draft and for Giddey. Like he's probably a guy that plays off the bench.
Yep.
Because if they can get a guy like Cam Whitmore, then Whitmore's your 4. Like that's that's the end of that. And then like I feel like you've got guys there. But if he can come off the bench and like spell whoever for a few minutes, be a guy that can play the 3 and the 4 and the 5 in some spots. It's like, okay, that's like awesome. Like you need those guys. And
he can be kind of a connector.
Yeah, without a doubt. At C Martin NBA, would love to hear a status update on how Andrew is feeling about Lou's fit long term and his confidence level in Chet fixing Lou's shot diet. I don't know. It's going to be on Lou for the shot diet stuff for him to figure that out. It's a problem.
Well, he's also the finishing is the strangest one where he's not even like, he's just getting some bad breaks. There are shots where he doesn't even hit the rim attacking the basket. Like to be more in control is all he needs. Like for Lou to shoot threes, whatever, like that's just going to be a reality. He's going to do it. And some of that you need. You don't want anybody hesitating to shoot the threes. But the finishing where he is just badly missing is the stuff that's the most concerning to me at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's the decision making within it all, and Mark says that they track pretty closely the shot quality of not only their opponent, but themselves. And so my first thought was like, okay, what about Lou Dort? Because like the shot quality is like quite low. There's like some really early shot clock stuff that's contested. There's some drives to the rim where it's like you just don't know what he's going to do. His defense is still very good. And so this is why like you want to hang on. If he can be a corner 3-point shooter and a guy that plays in transition, because he'll have to evolve into that, because next year like the shots are going away pretty significantly.
Yeah, and I think that in the same sense that we give all of these other guys the benefit of the doubt of being young, figuring out their role, like this team being a team that is still under construction, like we have to give that benefit of the doubt to Dort as well.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes.
And he's still young too. Like he's not in his prime.
Yep. And for Dort, it's just sometimes his mistakes feel so glaring.
Oh, they are. They're loud. When he drives to the rim and he just kind of throws something up, you're like, what? Like, why? Especially
when you've got like critical moments and Shea doesn't touch the ball an entire possession because it's Dort.
Yeah.
Like he shouldn't be that. He's got to figure out his role offensively. And I think we talked about it last week too, though, or as well, is at the same time, he was clearly missed on offense against the Grizzlies because he was the only one he's the most assertive player on the team outside of Shea.
Yeah, they lacked an aggression. I'm kind of, as far as like long term with the team, I'm not ready to say anything about that until I see who they draft in 23, and then what the team looks like with Chet. I'm just not willing to say like, oh yeah, he's definitely not going to make this roster.
With Chet being such what seems to be or could be a dominant centerpiece in this team, like everything that's happening this year is like a nice bonus, but you can't evaluate it until you see it alongside what will be such a big deal.
It's impossible to know. And so like I don't think you can make just like giant judgments. I mean, they gave him a new contract. They did that for a reason. They believe in his point of attack defense. And so you have to
But they also play him.
They play him a ton.
Like Mark loves Dort.
He's a big Dort fan. And you kind of have to take that too, because like Bazley started his first game of the season the other night. There's been a lot of games where he hasn't played. He had 2 DNPs in the last week.
Yeah.
Then okay, Mark is not the biggest Bazley guy.
No, I can't even begin to. I mean, is he not? I don't know. I don't know what Mark's doing with minutes. So like there's some sort of plan that they had from the beginning of the season that
they want to get a really good look at
everybody,
at every single guy.
Like I bet. So they called up Jalen Williams. I'm assuming he plays in the next 2 nights.
They they could use somebody like J. Will. Yeah. G League Williams.
He's been pretty good in the G League.
Yeah, he's played really well.
But man, every time I see him on the NBA floor, it's like not yet.
The game feels really fast.
Yes,
it looks like everybody's speeding around him, and he's kind of looking around.
Yeah,
that's okay. Like that's a lot of rookies. And so
he's a 2nd round pick. That
if it doesn't work, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. And maybe it just takes him a little bit more time.
It's hard because especially with him, as you fall in love with this story, and so then you're
story.
like, man, like the whole time when he found out he was drafted and his family situation seems, I don't know, it's just cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, he's a great dude as well. So, all right, Thunder play the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight in OKC. Hope you guys enjoy that game. We will talk to you guys again on Monday.